Hi everyone, today I will doing the video presentation and here is my group Winston, Matthew and Qinglong. And as ANDYS researcher, this presentation will present and critical analyze some of the key issues facing Australia companies in Japan. Japan economic system is a highly developing and advanced one. The government play a significant role in shaping the country's economic politicals, and the economy is heavily focused on manufacturing and international trade. For the question one, globalization have a significant effect on the political economy of Japan, which is economy and the social system. Japan's political economy have several systems, including the economic system, political system, and the social system, of all which have been affected by globalization. The economy in Japan has been greatly influenced by globalization through the increasing competition of foreign companies. The competition has led to a restructuring of the Japanese economy, which have shifted from being export-driven to being more dominance-oriented. The political system in Japan has also been impacted by globalization in terms of the foreign policy. Japan has increasingly taken on a more active role in international affairs and has become more open to working with other nations or global issues. The social system in Japan has also been influenced by globalization, as well in terms of the population structure. With a rapidly aging population, Japan have to solve issues such as social security, healthcare, and elder care, which have become more complex due to globalization. For the second question, the legal system of Japan presents several challenges of an Australia firm considered to set up organization in their country. The first one is the complex, complex legal system. Japan's legal system is based on civil law, which is different from the common law system used in Australia. The Japan's legal system can be complex, and the firm must have a good understanding of the local legal system to avoid any legal issues that may arise. The second one is cultural difference. The Japan legal system places a high value on human relationship, especially in the business area. Building strong relationship with customer, supplier, and other stakeholders is important in Japan. And the companies must understand the local culture in order to be successful. The last one is legal dispute. In Japan, legal disputes are usually resolved through alternative dispute resolution methods such as mediations rather than through the court system. This can be a challenge for foreign companies that are used to resolving disputes in a more confrontational approach. So in the conclusions, these challenges can be overcome by Australia companies with purpose planning and a good understanding of the local legal system and the cultures.
Japan has a relatively high GNI per capita of 43,740 US dollars, and it can be seen on the graph that Japan's GNI per capita has increased drastically. GNI per capita is the country's final income in a year divided by the country's population. There are several factors that causes a high GNI per capita. This involves things such as education. Japan prioritizes education to promote a highly skilled workforce. As Japan has stressed on improving the connection between education and training with employment in a technology-intensive world. By advocating for increased education and training in the fields of ICT and STEM, they acknowledge the importance of integrating STEM with art and design to foster adaptive thinking, taking risks, and innovation problem solving. They emphasize that such education should be conducted with a global perspective and promote international interactions among both students and teachers. Japan saw that proficiency in English is becoming an increasingly important skill for global competition. It is seen as advantageous to include it in national curricula. Therefore, it was necessary to input early English language teaching to enhance students' English skills. During the 1980s, Japan has made a considerable impact in global competition primarily by shaping global technological trends, revolutionizing major global industries, and contributing to crucial innovations in industrial production processes. These efforts generated significant wealth, which made Japan to be the world's second largest economy. Japan has a relatively notable level of investment in research and development, which comes from both government and educational institutions. Japan's government expenditures on R&D ranks second only to the United States among advanced industrialized nations. With a high percentage of GDP allocated towards R&D than any other country, this would in turn cause the growth rate for GDP to improve. Japan has a high HDI of 0.925 points out of a measurement of 0 to 1 in 2021. Japan's HDI is considered above average as the world's average in 2021 was 0.721 points, but based on 186 countries. HDI is measured by life expectancy of the country, education attainment, and whether the average income is enough to meet the basic needs of life. The reason for Japan's high HDI is because Japan excels in all these factors. Japan has an average life expectancy of 78.01 years from the period 1960 to 2020. The world average within that period was 72.18 years. Therefore, Japan is above average in that aspect. Japan has had a low economic growth for 2 decades, which helped Japan life expectancy to grow. Japan's population health, as measured by indicators like mortality rate and life expectancy, showed improvement during economic stagnation. Japan has a high tertiary school enrollment percentage of 64.62%. According to Martin Tro's definition, Japanese higher education has progressed from a phase of mass higher education to one of universal access. This has led to the development of a diverse higher education system in Japan, with almost everyone having access to higher education. Japan's average income based on purchasing power parity is 45,601 USD in 2021, which is above average compared to other countries' averages in the world of 21,283.47 US dollars. The average income is enough to meet the basic needs of life. However, to some degree, the basis for determining wages in Japan has shifted from the principle of seniority-based payment to performance-based payment. So consequently, skilled and productive workers receive higher wages, while less skilled and less productive workers receive lower wages. This caused a gap between these two groups. In the past 15 years, Japan's macroeconomy has been weak, leading to an unemployment rate of over 5% and many unemployed people with low incomes. Companies have been struggling with management difficulties and have had to make significant labor costs reductions. They reduce costs by hiring more non-regular employees, such as part-time workers or employees on limited duration contracts, who receive considerably lower wages than regular full-time employees. This has resulted in a significant number of low-wage earners in Japan. Additionally, Japan's aging population has resulted in a high level of income inequality among the elderly. Even though Japan has an above average purchasing power parity income, there's a growing income inequality distribution and poverty in some areas of Japan that struggle to meet the basic needs of life. Indicators like HDI and GNI are significant for Australian companies looking to enter the Japanese market. Japan has a high HDI, making it an attractive and a stable environment for business operations. However, this also means that the market is highly competitive, making it challenging for Australian companies to enter and maintain their market position. On the other hand, Japan's relatively high GNI per capita can provide increased profitability and a growth potential for Australian firms. Although HDI provides insights into a country's development level, GNI may be more useful for an Australian firm that seeks a specific indication of the country's economic potential and a market attractiveness. It really depends on the goals that align with Australian firms.
Hi, my name is Zhang Qinglong. For this part, I'm going to explain what Japan should specialize when trading with other countries by Ricardo and Smith series, and which of the series the government should follow from these three parts. Now let's move to the next slide. For the first one, first of all, let me introduce the country Japan. As we all know that Japan is a developed country, and as my group may say in that the first question, Japan is a highly globalized country in the political and economic fields. Japan is an advanced economy with a strong focus on technology, automotive, and electronic industry. According to the Adam Smith series for absolute advantage and the David Ricardo series of the comparative advantage, Japan should specialize in industries where it has a clearly advantages. Yeah. And second, let me explain the two series and how they plan in different countries. See in these slides. For the first one, Adam Smith's absolutely advantage. Adam Smith argued that countries should specialize in the production of goods, where they possess an absolute advantage, meaning they can produce their good more efficiently and at a lower cost than other countries. For Japan, this will mean focus on the industry where it has an established reputation for producing high quality goods, such as the electronics and technologies like this. Japan has long been a global leader in the development, and production of electronic devices, robotics, and advanced technologies. The industry has a strong base of skilled workers, research and development infrastructure, and established supply chains. The second is the automotive. You see, Japan is home to major automotive manufacturers like the Toyota, Honda, and the Nissans. The country has a significant advantage in terms of the expertise and the capacity for producing fuel-efficient and technological advanced vehicles. What's more, for the second is the David Ricardo's comparative advantages. From his series, he argued that the countries should specialize in the production of goods where they have the lower opportunity cost compared to other countries. Even if they don't have as absolute advantages, this means focus on the industry where Japan can produce goods more efficiently relative to its trading partners. In addition to the industry mentioned above, Japan may also have a comparative advantage in the medical equipment and the pharmacies. Japan has a strong pharmacy and the medical equipment industries, driven by its aging population and focus on healthcare by specializing in these industries. Japan could leverage its research and development capabilities, as well as its skilled workforce to compete efficiently in the global market. The second is the renewable energy technology. Japan has been investing heavily in renewable energy sources like the solar and the wind. Developing and exploring this technology could provide Japan with a competitive edge as global demand for clean energy continue to grow. So let's move to last slide. The last slide is that which series should Japan follow? So from my personal opportunity, given although Japan's current economy is leader and its strong focus on advanced technology and highly skilled industries, it is recommended that Japan's government follow Ricardo series. Which one is that? The comparative advantage. Well, Japan has absolutely advantage in certain industries. Embracing comparative advantage allows for a more efficient allocation of resource and better opportunities for growth. By specializing in industries with a lower opportunity cost and focusing on its strengths, Japan can maximize its potential gains from trade, increasing productivity and continue to be a global leader in innovation and technology. This will benefit not only Japan's economy but also its trading partners, and as they will have access to high quality specialized goods at a competitive price.
Hello, and this is for question 5. So Japan mainly used these trade instruments. So the first thing first, the tariff. Japan is known to have a low tariff rate for import in general, but also they impose a high tariff in certain items to protect the domestic market. They also adopt anti-dumping system. They have adopted for a long time, and this allows them to have a lower imposed duties on imported items. They would also subsidize their export. Government would subsidize their export in their commodities, mostly cars and electronics, rice as well. Voluntary export restraints has made agreements and settlements that Japan must follow from other countries because it restricts them to the amount of export and the amount of exported items that they are able to do. And import quotas, Japan is increasing their import quotas specifically for dairy products by the 28th of January 2022. Okay, so the first theory is absolute advantage. In this case, we know that Japan is known to produce cars and they have advantage over many countries. Therefore, that's why we can see that Japan is subsidizing its export, knowing they have a special niche, and focusing on it has been a great success. The other theory that Japan uses is mercantilism, and the aim of using mercantilism is to protect the balance of the trade. So they would, for example, set a high import rate on a domestically products that can be domestically produced and have a high competitive rate. They would have a higher tariff in higher import rate, for example, rice, which we will talk about in the next slide. But also Japan pushes its exports to more, so it can protect the market from foreign competitors and achieving the balance of the trade itself. So to picture the application of mercantilism, so one of the agricultural product that Japan use is rice, and Japan intentionally sets a high import rate on rice, so people of Japan don't import rice. They instead buy it domestically, and somehow it protects the market from foreign competitors, and knowing that they have good rice as well, so they are domestically good. Like these producers are strong enough to stand on their own. And works the other way around with exports. We can see that Japan sets more export, like subsidizing their exporters in electronic and car. This prove the work of mercantilism and achieving the balance between trade. Japan is also ranked the 13th of the Mercantilist Index. Okay, so here are the reference lists. So we have 4 slides of this. This is the first slide. Second slide. Third slide. And finally, the final slide. Thank you very much for watching our presentation. I hope you have a nice day.